Good evening, StreamYard and YouTube fans. This is Philip Reynolds, and I am bringing to you tonight a 9-car demolition derby showdown. We've got Bobby Catalano, we have Philip Reynolds, we have Heidi Jester, we have Candy, Darla, we have Pablo Montoya, and he automatically gets double damage anytime. And if you were around for last race, he didn't even get to his, he was the last person in line, and he didn't even get to roll. We have an up-and-coming season 4 driver, my daughter, Sarah Reynolds, also known as P-Jib. She doesn't like that though, but she was born prematurely, and she's kind of the runt of the litter, kind of called her Piglet and P-Jib and that kind of thing. And then we have Paul Govier from the UK, and we have Alan Shaw. And in the back there, you will see the pink cars of the ladies, except for my daughter who doesn't have one yet, and the white colors of the gentlemen. And I found out that with the bonuses, you actually roll and then you declare that you're going to use your bonus in that. And today, Bobby has the add 2 exclamation and 1 question mark, meaning she gives 2 internal damage to somebody, but she also has to take 1 internal damage. I have the ability to take away 1 external damage that I've done to myself, or 1 question mark where I give myself 1 internal damage. IDJ has the ability to negate 1 external damage. Candy has the ability to knock away 1 bonus, just like Chris Stratt did last time. Darla has the ability to have 9 extra damage, and that's external. Pablo Montoya, out of all things, gets the no damage on his first turn, but will he get to use it? And Sarah, my daughter, has 2 extra X's, and then Paul, instead of having 6 internal damage, will have the ability to have 7 internal damage. And Alan gets to add one exclamation to a roll, which means that it winds up being 2 exclamation, not just 1. And last race, we had ID Jester, the winner, and I was runner-up. These players will be B-class players now, and the rest will be C-class players. Also, if your car gets stalled, you get 1 turn to unstall your car. If not, unlike what Keith Avalon has in his demolition derby and what Rob has in his demolition derby, if you can't get it unstalled, you're out. That's just the way it is, because I've seen demolition derbies, and yeah, but pretty much a lot of times when they're stalled, they basically have to break their stick, because there's a stick with a flag on each car, and they had to break their stick, and it's done. Also, sorry, but I don't deal with engine problems, because every demolition derby I've seen, if you have an engine problem, you're out. It doesn't matter. You are out. So those are the things that I've instituted in my demolition derby. Doesn't mean everybody does it. They don't have to. That's okay. Also, I wanted to make one notification for Rob, and this is that when you get a no damage like Montoya has for his bonus, you're supposed to flip the card over, and basically he has gets no damage until his next turn, which means when you reshuffle, you keep this card down, and then when his turn comes up, you flip it over, and only then can he get damage to his car. With that being said, we are going to roll, and Bobby Catalano is our first roller, and she is using Peggy Turner's. I have to go over the actual drivers that they're using. Bobby Catalano will be using Peggy Turner. I will be using Marshall Gosney. Jester will be using Sean Ervallo. Candy will be using Barbie Jane Sales. Darla will be using Donna Torville. PJ Montoya or Pablo Montoya will be using Turner Gallo. Sarah will be using Sonny Swain. Paul Govier will be using Ron Perry. And Alan Shaw will be using Danny Hack. All right. And with that being said, Bobby will roll. She gets a 4-3. And that is the scratch and dent trait. That is 2X and an exclamation to the least driver, and the bullet basically means it's going to the first person, which would be me. And what I do with my, there's my pen. So I will get 2 external damage and an internal damage, and that will be trait 6 is gone from me. Which is the easy peasy trait. All right. And I am next up. And that is a 5-4. And that will be an X, an exclamation, and a question. That means Bobby Catalano will get 1 damage. And she'll roll for, it's 5-4. She'll roll for the exclamation, and that will be a 4. And I will roll for the question mark, and that will be a 3. All right. So as you can see already, I've got 2 traits that are wiped out, and Bobby has 1, and ID Jester is up to roll here. Okay. All right, that is a 3-1, and that is an X and 2 exclamations to the one with the most damage. That will be me. So that's 3. And I get 2 internal damage, so I'll roll both of these. So I have 3 and 4. 1 more to the 3 column, and I will be out. And I've already got 4 internal damage already, and 6, and that's done with. All right. We will go to Candy's roll. Candy is a 1-5. And that is a skid. And she is a C driver. And that is a 1. And that is an X. And the bullet says that X goes to Darla. All right. And she's going to use her bonus to negate Darla's 9+ damage, external damage. So Candy will use her bonus this time, and she's negating Darla's 9 external damage, and so Candy's bonus will be gone, and that will take us to Darla's turn in the first turn. Okay. All right, 6-6, and that is a car result. So, and that is a 2. She has 1 damage, and she will inflict 1 damage, and the bullet says that will go to Candy. All right. And that brings us to Pablo Montoya. And being as that Pablo Montoya has the ability for no damage, he's going to take no damage this turn, meaning and plus he still gets to roll though. And his roll is a 4-5. And 4-5 is a skid. And that is a 6. And that is an unusual result. All right. So we will roll 2. And that is a 63. Coolant hose burst. Engine light goes on. But he took no damage. So we will have to disregard that. that's one of those, he got lucky because he would have been out of the race right then and there based on my rules, because I don't put up with engine problems. He would have been out of the race right there. But because he has the no damage this turn, we go to the next driver. Our next Sarah is our next race driver is the up and coming Sarah, season 4 YRL driver. And she does a 5-5. And that will be a skid. 4. And that will be one damage to herself. And she's going to go ahead and give the 2 external damage using her bonus, and that will go to Paul Govier. So far we've had we've had 1, 2, 3, 4. We've had 1 bonus canceled and 3 bonuses used. And Paul's automatically, and it's Paul's turn. Paul's going to use the 7 damage internal damage. That will be his bonus. So he will be able to have, instead of having 6, he will have the capacity to have 7 internal damage. So it is Paul's turn. All right, 4, 6. And that will be a car. And that is a 5. 5. 5, 6. That would be a car. Okay. And then that's 1, and he's got 2 damage already. So he will be able to give an X, and the bullet there says that it goes to Sarah. So she will have basically 2 external damage, 1 by herself and 1 by an opponent. And Paul used his so he's able to have 7 external damage now. All right. And we go to Alan Shaw. And he has a 5, 6. And that will be a car. Okay. And that is a 5. And he has no damage. So that will be an X. And that X says that it goes to Sarah. So Sarah has 3 damage. And we go ahead, we pick up the cards, and it's time for turn 2. Not turn 2, but lap 2. Lap 2 to turn 2. So yes. Okay. Right. We got ID Jester. We got Alan Shaw. We got Candy. Paul Govier. Bobby Catalano. Montoya will still be. We got Sarah. We got Philip. And we've got Darla. All right. We go to ID Jester. Let's see, what is ID Jester's? Well, we'll give it a shot here. He's going to take away a 0 if he gets one here. 4-3 for, and he's using Sean. Oh, which is really good because he gets 2 to the least amount of damage, and in this particular instance, that would be that's basically saying to himself. So he gets, because of the -1, he gets 1 damage to himself, not 2. Yep. So that was a good decision by Jester to do that. All right. And it's Alan Shaw's turn. And that is 1-4. And he is Danny. And 1-4. And that'll be an X and an exclamation to the car with the least amount of damage. And they're both similar, but the bullet says that it will go to Jester. And Jester will lose 1 ability, and that will be a 5. Okay, loses the 5. And he's going to go ahead and use the, he's going to give basically ID Jester another ability taken away, and that will be a 3. So so far, after just 2 turns and 2 drivers, Bobby and myself are the only 2 that haven't used their bonus yet. And that takes us to Candy. All right. 4-5 for Candy. And she's got Barbie, 4-5. And that will be a skid. Okay. And that's a C. She gives 1 damage to herself. Oh, wow. 1 damage to herself. And we go to the second column. which is Paul Gauvier's column. Okay. Right. We've got a 5-3. He's got Ronnie. 5-3 will be, any damage will be going to Bobby right now. 5-3 will be an X and an exclamation. So that will be going to Bobby. And she will lose an ability. She loses the 5 trait. All right. And we go to Bobby Catalano. And that is a 5-5. And she's Peggy. Oh, she doesn't have a 5. So that means nothing there. Nothing happens there. And that puts us to Montoya, Pablo Montoya, and this is his first roll ever. And he gets a 1-4. And that will be an X to the least amount of damage. And being as there's no bullet, that will be to Bobby Catalano because they're both even. Right? And it's Sarah's turn to roll. That's a 4-2. And she's got Sunny. And that is no damage. All right. So she will not get any damage. Any damage I do will be to Darla. So it's my turn to roll, and it's a 5-4. And luckily for me, 5 is a column that is good on my card. And that will be an X and a question mark and an exclamation mark and a question mark, which means Darla will get an X. It also means that Donna will lose an ability, and that will be the 3. And 3, 4. Oh, wait a minute. Oh no, that was no damage. 3, 4. I don't know what I was thinking, but I have to, basically this roll doesn't count. So Darla still has just 1 damage. Okay, so it's Darla's turn to roll. And that's 3-6. And she doesn't have the 3 ability, so that means that we pick up the cards and we move to turn 3 or lap 3. Segment 3, basically. Okay. No. Okay. So going into turn three, we have Montoya with no damage. Sarah's with temporarily with no damage. Darla has 1X. Sean is clean. Paul Govier has 2X external. Bobby has 3 external. ID Jester has 2 external. Candy has 2 external. And Philip has 3 external. We also have Bobby with 2 chips on 4. A chip on 4 and 5. We have Philip with 4 chips, 2 on 3, 1 more on that, and then he'll be gone. He'll be out. Also on 4 and 6, ID Jester has chips on 3 and 5, and Darla has a chip on ability 3, and Montoya is up to roll. Any damage that he gives will be given to Darla, and that is a 6-1. And that is Turner, and that will be an X and a question mark. So that means Darla will have 2, and it also means that Montoya will lose not just 1, but 2 abilities. So that will be 3 and 6. And Teresa is up. So you gotta understand that any damage that he gets is doubled to himself, even if it's to himself. So he had a question mark, and a question mark is internal damage to yourself. An exclamation is internal damage to somebody else. So he gave himself basically 2 internal damage. And now we go to Sarah, P-Jib, as I like to call her. And it is her turn. And we will roll, and she gets a 2-6, and she is Sunny 2-6, and that will be a car result, and that is a 3 on the car chart. She has no damage, so that. Oh, wait a minute. She has 3 damage, 3 external damage, and it's a 3. So that means her car stalls. Sarah will be our first stalled car. And if she cannot get an even number on her next time, she will be the first car out. So Sarah is stalled. Okay, that means Darla is up. And that is a 1-4. And that is Donna. 1-4. And that will be 2X and an O. And that says to the least amount. So that means Pablo Montoya will get 4 damage. Just like that. And Darla will get herself with 1. And that takes us to Alan Shaw. And that's 2-4. Danny. And that will be 1 external damage to himself, which he's the one with the least amount of damage. And now it's Paul Govier. our UK driver, one of our UK drivers, and that is a 3-3, and he is Ronnie. 3-3, and he gets no damage. So flip over Mr. Govier. That means anything Bobby gives will be given to Alan Shaw, and she will go for the 2 internal and 1 to herself internal. So that is a 2-2, and she's Peggy, and that will be 2x and an internal, and she's going to give. So she will have. Alan Shaw will have 3 internal. Yeah, he will have 3 internal damage. She will give herself a question, so she'll have 1. So we'll roll for hers first, and that is a 2. Okay, and now 2. So Alan will get 3 X's. I mean, basically, he'll have 3 damage now. And he gets 3 internal damage. And he is Danny. That's the last card. So he gets a 2 and a 4. Oh, sorry, just 1. And basically, you'll have 2 on that, and then we'll have 1 on 4. So he has. I ran out of chips. It's like they don't give you enough. Okay, so that takes care of. That moves us up to ID Jester. His turn, and that'll be a 5-1. And he does not have the 5 ability. So that means Candy will roll. And that is a 1-2. And that will be an X and an O. That X will go to me, because it's the person with the most damage. And she will get damage to herself. And now it's my turn. 6-5, and that is the end of turn 3. And Sarah is stalled, so she'll stay there. And we have 1 that had no damage. All right. So Pablo Montoya is still in after 4 turns, which is hardly unbelievable. And he's got a 1, 2, and this will go to Turner. 1, 2. And that means he gets no damage. And this means that Sarah has to either get a bullet or a not bullet. If she gets a bullet, she starts her car. If she doesn't, she's out of the race. And she starts her car. Yes. Vroom, 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 vroom. Right. And any damage she gives now will go to Jester. as there's no damage to Pablo Montoya. And that is a 6-2. Oh, and she gives herself 2 external damage. No damage to ID Jester, but 2 to herself. And that gets her at 5 external damage, 2 more, and she'll be our first out. ID Jester, 5-5. We're looking at Sean, and that trait is gone for ID Jester. We flip over for Paul Gouvier. That's 2-4, and he is Ronnie. And that will be 2 external damage to himself. Wow. That puts him at 4. We go to Candy. And that is 3-4 for Candy. And she's Barbie. 3-4. And that is 1 to the least. And that is 3. And that will be to Darla. So Darla will have 4. And Candy gives herself, and Candy gives herself 2 damage. So that means she will be up to 5. And Darla's ready to roll. 5-5. Darla is Donna, and that is a skid result. And that is 4. And that will be a damage to herself. That means she has 5 external damage. We're going to go to Bobby Catalano, and she's going to use the 2 exclamations and a question mark this time. And that is a 1-3, and she's Peggy. And that's 2 to the one with the least amount of damage. Yes, 2 to the, which will be Alan Shaw. And Alan will get, first of all, we'll go to Peggy and see what her loss is, or Bobby's, and she loses the 6 trait. So she only has basically a 1 and a 3 available. And we will see what 2 traits Alan loses. 1 and a 6. Okay. One, 2, 3. That means that he needs just 1 more internal damage, and he'll be out of the race. And that's whether he uses, gets it on the 2 quality, or if he gets it anywhere else. Okay. And I will do the -0 or question mark trait here. And that is a 5-3. And he will avoid 1 damage to himself. The X will go to Alan Shaw, which means he will have 6. Next one, and he'll be gone. And we have 2 question marks, which go to me, and I have, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. That will take me out of the race. That will take me out of the race, and I will be the first one gone out of this race. Wow. Alan Shaw's turn. 4, 5. And he's got Danny, and that one is not available. We are going to the 5th turn with only one of our drivers. One of our drivers is out. All right. All right, we're going to do it this way. All right, we're going to have 2 rows of 4 here. And this means Montoya gets to roll first. 6, 6 for Montoya, and he is Turner. And the 6th trait is he doesn't have, which gives us the Paul Gauvier. 2, 3 for Paul, and he is Ronnie. And that means no damage for Paul this turn. It means Candy's turn. 5, 6 for Candy, and that will be a car, and that is a 3 on the car chart. She has 5 damage with a 3, and that means Candy will stall. So Candy stalls. And that will bring us to Alan Shaw. Six, 1 for Alan. And that is a no-go. ID Jester. 1, 1 for ID Jester, and he is Sean. And that will be an exclamation. That'll be an exclamation and an X to the one with the most. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will give Darla an X, and she is She is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She now has 5, and she will lose. She 1, 1, and she will also lose an ability. She is Donna, and that ability that she loses is a 6. All right. So that brings up P-Jib. So 1-2 for Sunny. And that will be an X and 2 exclamation for the person with the most damage, which is Darla in this case. That means Darla has 6, 1 more, and she will be out. And 2 exclamation points to Donna. And that is a 3 and a 4. Okay. And that will bring us to Darla's turn. Six, 2, and that ability just got erased, so that means it's Bobby Catalano's. And that is, she's Peggy, and that's erased. So we've got one that has no damage, and we've got another that is stalled, and if they don't unstall their caller this time, they'll be out. All right. Montoya, Jester, Sarah, Darla, Bobby Catalano, and Alan. All right, Montoya goes 2-4, and he is Turner. That will be an X and a question mark to the least. And that will mean Jester will get an X. And a question mark to himself means he will get 2 question marks. And that is a 5 and a 1. And then we flip over Paul Gobier. 2-3. Oh, that was a 2. 2-3, and he is Ronnie. 2-3, and that's no damage. Man, he keeps getting lucky with the no damage. Now, we have to see if Candy will start or not start. Bullet means she starts. Blank means she doesn't. And Candy is our second player out of the game. That will take us to Jester's turn. 5-2, and he is Sean. Oh, and Montoya gets lucky as that is an ability that Jester doesn't have. Sarah's up. 3-3, and that is no damage for Sarah. Darla is up. 5-2 for, and that is an X and an exclamation. And that will go to Bobby. And what trait is erased here? And that is 3. So that means she has 5. she only has one of it. She's got 5. If she gets the one knocked out, she will be out of the race. Okay. And I think it's Bobby's turn. 4-2. And that's not available, which takes us to Alan Shaw. 2-3 for Danny. And that's gone as well. So that takes us two cars got lucky and had no damage. And that takes us to basically turn 7. Okay. All right. Bobby Catalano. 5-2. And she's pegged, and that's nothing. Okay. That takes us to Paul Gouvier. 1-2, and he is Ronnie. And he keeps getting the no damage. He gets no damage. So that takes us to Montoya. Uh, 2-2 for Montoya. Here's Turner. And that will be an X and an exclamation point. And that will go to that will go to Bobby. And being as there's an exclamation point, that takes Bobby out because that will give her 6 automatically. And that takes us to Darla. 5-3. Donna, 5-3. And that will be an X, and that will be 2 X's, and that will give Montoya 6. And with our rule, that means Montoya is out of the race because we only give Montoya 6 and not 7 damage. That way he's out quicker. And so, yes, so Montoya's out, and we are down to our final 5. And Sarah flips over. 5-1. And that will be an X and an O. That means Alan Shaw will be out. And she gives herself 1, which means she's in danger of being out. And it's Jester's turn. If Jester can pull off 1, some numbers here, Sarah will be out. 1, 2. Oh, and that's double damage to himself. Oh, Sarah lucks out. Talk about being gifted. Okay. So we have, this will be our final the way our final rollings will be. Paul Govier, Sarah, Darla, and ID Jester could possibly win his second race. 3-1 for Paul, and he is Ronnie. And again, no damage for Paul. Wow. Sarah's turn. 4-4. And that will be an X. And that will be given to Darla. And Darla is out. And that will take us to ID Jester. And since the only person that ID Jester can hit is Sarah. So if he gets an X, there's only two players left. And that is a 2-6. That will be a car. Car roll is 5. And he has 5. Oh! And that is an engine problem for Jester. And with the way my rules go, that means he's out. So our 2 finalists are Sarah and Paul Govier. And Sarah has 1 damage, and Paul has just 4. So if Paul can roll something that's not a no damage. Okay, 3-5. And that will be a skid. And that is a 1. And that will be an X. And that, my friends, is your winner right there, Paul Govier. All right, Paul Govier is our winner of race 2. And Sarah is the runner-up. So for her first race, not bad. She came up runner-up in this. That also means that Paul Govier and Sarah will join the likes of ID Jester and Philip, and they'll be B-class drivers. So yes. And we are at the 1 hour and basically say 5-minute mark. And that's a lot better than 2 hours. So, but yeah, it was a really good race. Pablo Montoya lasted longer than expected. I think pretty much due to the sheer luck that he got the no damage on his first turn. If he hadn't had that, he very well could have been annihilated. I was the only one that didn't use a bonus that time, so that's good. And Paul Govier, just like in the YouTube Race League comes up big again today. He won, so hats off to you. And I've got some things that I'll be getting tomorrow after work and after before church. And one of those things is for my UK drivers. And when I come home tomorrow night, I'll show them to you. And it won't be as long as this. So Paul Govier was the winner, and Sarah Reynolds, or PJib, was the runner-up. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please subscribe and turn on your notifications. I need 14 more viewers for 100, and I would really like to have 100 viewers by my birthday. And my birthday is Saturday, guys, so there's not much time. So, but I love you. God loves you. I hope you enjoyed this. Check out Wreckfest on Steam, or check it out on YouTube, because there's plenty of videos on Wreckfest, and it's basically a video game of the Demolition Derby. Gives you an idea of what the carnage is really like. So take care, guys. Good night.